All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Box Office Dynasty podcast. I am Jack,
And I'm Josh.
and we're here recording episode two. We're very excited to be back. We had a little bit of technical difficulties recording this episode so far, but you got your nice new setup looking over there, Josh.
Yeah, well, we were going to talk all about how I don't have to be on my phone anymore, how I have the mic and the headset. And we went on. Actually, we filmed like 7 minutes of this already.
Yeah, we had to restart.
Had to
It's all right.
restart because my internet now was being problematic. So I thought we're improving the technology, and I guess you just can never really predict it, can you?
Things are looking good. So if you're listening to this right now, that means it was smooth sailing from here.
Yeah, and you know what? Having the mic, we're hoping that the audio experience and even the visual experience, now that I'm not on my phone, will be better for everyone who's watching and listening at home. Because I know it might have been a little rough around the edges last week. It was our first episode. We were so eager to get into it that we didn't even wait for me to have all the proper equipment.
Yeah, we were so excited, and we got such great feedback from a lot of you. We got a lot of love and support, from the
Yeah.
first episode, and it means the world to us. So if you're listening to this now, whether you're on TikTok or Spotify or YouTube or Instagram, we just appreciate the fact that you're listening to this. If you're following us, if you're giving it likes, that means the world to us. We couldn't ask for anything more. We couldn't appreciate it any more than we do. So thank you to everybody it's really just been, it's been great so far.
Yeah, I mean, we were pretty worried, or like we didn't know. I mean, that we could have just stumbled and fallen flat on our faces after the first episode. I think I speak for both of us when I say it was, for a first episode, a much bigger success than we anticipated.
Yeah, who would have thought?
And so we just want to thank you all for your support so far. We encourage you to keep sharing with your friends, film lovers, anyone out there who might be interested in something like this, because this is just our second episode, and as you could tell, we had some technical difficulties, this and that. So
We're still working things out.
we're trying to get better at it, and we're just we're glad that everyone is along for the ride, and we really want to see where this thing can go.
Things are only going to get better from here. I mean,
Hopefully.
Things are just going to get better. We're going to keep reaching better. Oh God. Yeah, so we're just going to keep chugging along. I mean, we're just two dudes who love to talk about movies, and like, if you guys want to listen to it, that's amazing. Like, we'll just keep making good content for you, or and keep talking about things you want to hear and the things that we want to talk about. So we're just eternally grateful for anyone who's listening to this. It's really cool that you're doing that, and it's really fun that we get to do this.
Yeah, people talk all the time about starting a podcast. They're always
Yeah.
like, "Hey, come on, bro, let's start a podcast." And
Yeah.
they never actually do it. Like we are part of that though. We were talking about this for like 3 years.
The amount of times I've gotten drunk with my friends and been like, guys, here, I got an idea for you. Let's start a podcast is like, it's triple digits at this point.
I think I've committed to like 20 different podcasts at some point or another. So one was bound to actually make it out of the idea phase. But
Yeah.
no, we're really excited, and we even have a great episode today, and we think things are going swell as long as the technology holds up.
Yeah, that's our biggest enemy right now. But we do have a lot to talk about today. We're going to be going through the weekly box office numbers, of course. We're going to be reviewing the Minecraft movie. We're going to give our thoughts on that. We're going to give a spoiler review, or non-spoiler review, and then we're going to do a spoiler review. We're going to talk about the Morgan Wallen SNL controversy a little bit, and then talk about SNL itself. And then there's a lot of reveals at CinemaCon this past week, so we're going to talk a lot about those movies, those shows, things that have been revealed to us. So we got a really good episode going for you today.
But before we get into all of that, it would just not be right if we didn't take some time to pay tribute to Val Kilmer first. Val Kilmer passed away at the age of 65 earlier this week after a battle with throat cancer. And he's going to be very missed, but he was, in my opinion, one of the most underappreciated actors in the industry. And his talent and stage and screen presence was only outdone by his big heart, which I don't think a lot of people even really was able to know about that from him through his roles, which he had a lot of incredible, just an incredible body of work. Top Gun, Top Gun Maverick, Batman, of course.
He's Batman. Like,
He's
how do you
Batman.
get cooler than Batman?
Yeah, he was in Heat, of course. He was Jim Morrison in The Doors. He was in Tombstone, The Prince of Egypt, Willow, Ron Howard's Willow, True Romance. So the list goes on and on. He just was a giant and seemed like a really awesome guy who just had such a deep love for the craft. I actually watched a documentary that he came out with. It's on Amazon Prime a few years ago called Val. And it basically was just like different footage that he's taken all throughout his life from childhood all the way up to then. Homemade stuff behind
That's really cool.
But yeah, behind the scenes footage from movies he made, and he told like it was his way of just telling his story through all the years of his filming, and that to me opened up a whole other side of this actor that I never knew before, you know, and the fact that he was just such a big loving guy who had such a passion for the craft and for, you know, art in general. And that's not something you get very often anymore. And so he's going to be really missed. I mean, again, Top Gun, Batman, he was just...
Yeah.
He
I
was
mean,
just
the fact that he only played Batman once is just like a tragedy too. Like,
well, he didn't want to come back.
Is that true?
Yeah, he said that in the documentary that, you know, he talked in that about how, yes, it's every like little boy's dream to play Batman, and he actually got to be Batman, but that it was challenging acting in that suit and on that, you know, in that mask, and every day was just it was hard for him to be as expressive as he wanted to be, and I just don't think and especially it was a commercial success, but it was mixed reviews, and so I just think he you know, I mean, I'm not going to speak for him, but what I gathered from the documentary is that he was happy for the experience, but it was a one and done.
He was kind of the forgotten Batman too, I think, you know, like,
well, it couldn't have been easy coming after Michael Keaton.
Right.
I mean, Michael Keaton.
That's huge shoes to fill.
Yeah. I mean, Michael Keaton was like, for a long time, to many people, he was the Batman.
Yeah. That's like our parents' Batman. You know?
Yeah. So I feel like, you know, that couldn't have been an easy role to step into, but he did great at it. Even if it was mixed reviews, I've always thought he was a really good Batman. But even his roles that go beyond that, he's Iceman. I don't know if you've ever seen the Top Gun movies.
I saw Maverick. I didn't see the first one.
Yeah, and you know that scene in Maverick now where he goes and sees when he sees Mav, and Mav goes to visit Iceman, and you know, he's talking about it's time to let go, because in the movie, you know, Maverick is obviously struggling because he wants to keep flying, and he doesn't know how to teach this to the next generation, and he's struggling with the idea of his age catching up to him, and Iceman, you know, was saying you gotta let go, you gotta let Goose's son kind of go at it, be his own pilot, and so, you know, I think there's a lot more weight to that now that he's gone. But it was just, we're so lucky that we got to see him one last time in a movie that was as successful as that. And I just wish that the world was able to show him a little more love. And I hope that he felt that from his fans, you know, even though he maybe wasn't the most iconic name of his time, he is one of the most underappreciated of his time.
Was that his last role in Maverick?
Yeah, that had to be. I mean, even then,
I
he
think
was
so.
Like, they wrote into the story that Iceman was sick because Val was sick.
I mean, you have to explain it. You know, the way he sounds in that movie, like he barely speaks because he unfortunately really couldn't.
Yeah.
So like you have to write it a certain way, and I think they handled it pretty well. I
think they handled it beautifully, and I rewatched the scene the other night, and it made me very emotional because it just, like I said, it hits different. So I highly recommend everyone check out that documentary on Amazon Prime. It's just called Val. It was special, and he was special. And I think and one more thing I want to shout out about Val Kilmer. One of the last things he was working on before he got sick originally was, so he also came from stage before he really got into film, and he had written a one-man play called Citizen Twain. And it was about, he played Mark Twain. I think he found like a lot of himself in Mark Twain.
Okay.
He talks about how Twain was like obviously a really impactful 19th century writer, and considers him like one of the first like comedians, stand-up comics or whatever. I can't say I know a lot about that, but
Okay.
I saw some clips. It would be him like interacting with the audience, as Mark Twain, and it was just really funny. And so, I mean, this guy, he loved what he did, and he did it for as long as he could. And so, Val Kilmer, you will be missed. You were a special talent and a special person, and we will miss you.
There's no real good way to segue into the Minecraft movie, is there?
No,
that?
well, before
There's no real way.
Chicken Jockey.
There's no way we're talking about Steve in that movie.
Yeah, there is no good way. But before we get into the Minecraft movie, of course, let's go over our weekly box office numbers.
Reveal them to me, baby. What do we got?
From the weekend of the 28th to the 30th of March. And I will say this. Last week, I went 1 to 5. I'm going to go 5 to 1 from now on, because I feel like when you go 1 to 5, you don't even really care about 5th at that point. You're
I
just
don't give a shit.
You're just like, yeah, screw it. So I'm going to go 5 to 1 to make you care.
Okay.
So this is, and for anyone wondering where Minecraft is, it'll be in next week's box office for sure. But I thought this was interesting. So this was last weekend's box office, 4 of the 5 were new releases. So number 5 was Death of a Unicorn. According to this, it was its first official weekend in the box office. Came in at 5th place. It made like 5.7 million.
Yeah, okay, I could see that.
The fourth, was a movie called The Woman in the Yard. I heard about it. I think it's like a horror film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Danielle Deadwyler stars in that. She was in a movie. I saw a movie a couple of years ago called Till. Based on Emmett Till.
Yeah.
And she was in that. She was really good. So, the third is a movie called The Chosen: Last Supper. I think it's a religious movie that came
sounds like it.
Last Supper. Yeah. Came in at $11.8 million. In second was the only movie to not come out on that weekend, Snow White. That one made another 14 million, but it had a 66% drop financially from its first weekend.
Fat drop.
And I don't know if you saw this, Jack, but they announced that they were holding on, or they were shelving for the time being, plans for a live-action Tangled movie.
Oh. Wait, what?
They were working on a live-action Tangled movie.
Yeah.
And now, after the last few weeks of Snow White, both, box office not doing well, and of course we covered a lot of the other issues around it last week. It's not, it's losing Disney a lot of money, and so
I would love a Tangled sequel. I don't need a live-action one. Tangled was so good.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, that is a really good movie, but.
That's solid.
Yeah, and then number 1, this was a little surprising, but I do, this obviously there wasn't a whole lot of big releases this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
A Working Man, the movie with Jason Statham, basically like any other movie he makes, but that came in its first weekend at $15.5 million to take over Snow White as number 1 in the box office.
That's surprising, because I can't imagine anyone's like going to see this movie expecting it to be any different than any of Jason Statham's other movies.
I gather it to be he's just got a strong fan base of people who like his action movies,
and he's cool. Like, I will admit,
he's a
those
cool
movies,
guy.
I've seen some of his movies, and I see clips from some of his movies, and there's some cool shit going on in those movies. So I'm not gonna lie, if you want to turn your brain off and watch something cool, you'd watch that.
But I definitely think if you're Disney and you see Snow White losing the top spot in the box office after one weekend to A Working Man, I think you're not happy. That's for sure. So those are your box office numbers from March 28th to the 30th. And of course, what we know will most definitely be number 1 next weekend. a Minecraft movie.
Let's get into her. Let's do it.
So, all right, Jack. Well, we'll start with spoiler free. So, anyone who wants to know our thoughts without spoilers, if anyone really cares that much about spoilers, you know, that you can listen to this part. We'll let you know when spoilers are coming at you.
We're gonna each review this movie out of 10. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
A Minecraft movie review out of 10. I'm gonna give this movie 3.5 Jennifer Coolidge and villager sex scenes out of 10.
What was his name? Like Nidbit?
I don't know. He had a
Nitwit?
name?
Yeah, he had a name.
I don't remember that. I'm going to give 3.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going to give it 3 chicken jockeys out of 10.
Okay.
3 chicken jockeys. Look, you know, the Super Mario Bros. Movie that came out last year, 2 years ago now, holy shit. That wasn't like a perfect movie by any means.
It was so fun though.
But it did the job. It was that's what a Minecraft movie should have been. Fully animated with characters we care about, not whatever the hell. I mean, Jason Momoa as the garbage man. What does that have to do with Minecraft? And it actually like really explored the lore of the world. Whereas the Minecraft movie, or a Minecraft movie, sorry.
Yeah, terrible name.
It's a Minecraft movie, all right. Yeah. It just doesn't really do that. You know, I feel like there's so much of Minecraft that's left out in favor of unnecessary bullshit.
This entire movie was Jack Black saying things that are in Minecraft. He's exposition dump like times 1,000. And I get it, because how do you make a movie for fans of Minecraft where general audiences and their parents can understand it? Like, you have to have him like basically babysit you and hold your hand going along the whole thing, but it does get really old really quickly.
I just like, again, you could have actually made a movie in the Minecraft like realm that really explored like adventures in Minecraft. I think a lot of the movie was like, too much of the movie was in the regular world.
It's like the first 30 minutes. Like,
yeah.
And it's only like an hour and a half long movie, or an hour 45.
It didn't work for me. And you know what? I'll say this. Me and my friends, we were in a theater like that was packed with kids. And they were enjoying the movie. You know, I mean, every time one of the lines from the trailers, like when it was like, I am Steve, like, or they're like, yearn for the mines, like the
chicken jockey,
like the kids were all into it, like Flint and Steel, like the kids. But here's the thing: when we were kids, movie studios made, like, I get that this is a movie for kids, but movie studios actually like put effort into worthwhile stories with lessons that even if we didn't understand their significance at the time, they impacted us and we carried them with us as we grew up. And I feel like kids these days, they're going to enjoy it that you're putting it in front of them, but it's not going to help shape them into the people they can grow up to be. And maybe that's crazy expectations. And I'm not saying the Minecraft movie, a Minecraft movie has to be, you know, it has to be like WALL-E or Up or something. But like, I don't know, there's no substance.
There's no nothing. Sauce. This movie has no sauce. I was a Minecraft kid. Like, that was my game growing up, was Minecraft. And I gave it a 3.5. I get that this movie isn't for me, but who is this movie for? I mean, even if I watched this movie 15 years ago when I was like obsessed with Minecraft, even then I would have been like, they could have done so much better. Like, this isn't really a movie for Minecraft fans. Kids will enjoy it, like, in general, because it's just like Jack Black saying
fun.
Flint and Steel. It's fun.
It's a fun
it's silly,
movie.
It's stupid, and kids are gonna enjoy it. And it's memed to death, which is like, of course you're gonna watch that. But I don't know. I can't really imagine who is the target audience for this.
You know, so we talk about box office numbers every week. The movie is going to make a lot of money. It's blowing past its projections. And I think that that's going to send the wrong idea. I mean, the majority of people that are watching it are either kids or people like us who are watching it for the meme or hate watching it. Not actually saying, not coming out of it saying, hey, what a movie, you know? Like, no, it's we're coming out of it and like, oh, what a movie. What a movie. Like, oh my God, you know? Like the whole time I'm watching it, it got like a few laughs, genuine laughs, and the rest of the time I was like sitting there, I got like my hand over like my face, and I'm just like, what am I like? You can't look away. It's like a train wreck, you know? But it's just like, what am I looking at?
Can we just get into spoilers? Because I feel like
Yes.
I want to get into the okay, spoilers for a Minecraft movie from here on out.
If anyone cares.
If anyone really cares. All the characters are the most annoying people I've ever seen. Jason Momoa, I thought he was going to be like an actual good character because I love Jason Momoa. He's funny. He's so annoying in this.
I mean, I thought he put like an appreciated effort. That's the way I put it. Like I respected that he had fun with it.
Yeah, they all look like they're having fun, but I just like didn't like any of the characters.
But there's a difference between like Jack Black, who was, I guess, the best part of the movie by default, and but he's basically just himself.
Yeah,
and Jason Momoa versus like some of the other characters. Like Danielle Brooks is fantastic. If anyone here has ever seen the Color Purple remake, she is so good in that movie.
But why is she in this movie?
But she had nothing. I mean, she's just collecting a paycheck. Like, she literally had nothing in the whole movie.
The only reason they had her in this movie is so that the sister wouldn't be alone. Because there's a part in this movie where they split up, and Jack Black and the main kid and Jason Momoa go off to do their thing. And then the main kid's sister is with Brooks. But I think the only reason they had her is to throw another character in there so she's not alone and she has someone to talk to.
Yeah, I agree. And at that point, just don't split them up. But, you know, and I guess they want to be able to, like, sell as many celebrities into the movie that they realistically, feasibly could. But then, you know, you look at Jennifer Coolidge, who was definitely thrown into this fairly last second. And she is, like, hilarious. I mean, her character is basically just Tanya from The White Lotus again. But, like, you know, it was funny. And I actually thought like that subplot was one of the funniest of the movie, but only out of pure stupidity. Like the whole thing it never even went anywhere. It made no sense.
That I thought was pretty funny, and the only other thing that I thought was actually funny was the ending where first of all, the villain sucked. I mean, it's just like a pig lady who failed.
Yeah, here's another thing. So I was saying that, you know, they don't actually do enough with the Minecraft lore. Where's like the Ender Dragon? Where is like, you know,
they go to the Nether. There's no blazes.
There's no blazes. You know what I mean? Like there's like. Meanwhile, they spent way too much time on a tater tot launcher, something that's not actually real to Minecraft. And I guess the message is like, oh, sparking like creativity, you know, and that is the message of the movie. But Minecraft has so much like vast creativity in building. You don't have to make up like items that don't exist. A tater tot launcher, I was like, dude, come on. What are we doing?
The beginning of this movie also was one of the, like, it's just like supposed to be stupid. I get it, but the beginning, he's like, I mined and I found this thing, and then I mined some more and I found this other thing, and I put the things together, and now I'm in Minecraft.
Yeah, like
and
it was
like,
so.
What?
It was so made up. And then also he goes into the mine, and that portal was like right at the entrance of the mine. And
I know.
I'm like, this mine shaft is so old, and no one who ever worked at this mine ever like went like 2 like chisels in and found the portal to the overworld.
Also, me saying, I found this thing, and then I mined some more and found this other thing, that's not me paraphrasing. That's like a legitimate quote from the movie, is that Jack Black literally finds these things, and he says, I found this thing, I found this other thing, now I'm in Minecraft.
Another quote from the movie that is so bad is when he goes, let's mine, let's craft, let's Minecraft. I'm like, let's leave. Let's book it. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I can't believe they said that. But
yeah,
at that point, I knew, I was like, this movie doesn't... It's like taking itself seriously at some points and then not at all at other points, which was kind of funny. But the ending was what I was saying before, that one of the only other funny jokes I found was when he's... the bad lady is surrendering.
Oh, that was
she's like, come closer, I have to tell you
Yeah.
something about you. And he's like, do you have a little knife that you're gonna try and stab me with? And she goes, no, of course not. And she goes to stab him, he just slaps it right out of her hand. And he's like, come on. I thought that was funny, but they did that like 4 more times.
Yeah, it was funny like the first 2 times.
Exactly. Every joke in this movie, there's funny jokes, but then they keep it going.
Like, because she did it with the one hand, and then it was funny when she went with the one more hand, and then she tries it like again.
Yeah, it's like, okay, now it's.
And I'm like, come on, just move on already. Like, it's not that funny.
Can we talk about how this kid invented a jetpack?
Oh, yeah, no, it was so funny because he was like, oh, like I want to be a rocket. It's not rocket science or something like that. And then he's like, okay, bet. And then he just makes a rocket. And it was like,
Yeah,
oh.
bro, get this kid at NASA.
Dude,
what are
he
you
does
doing?
not need to be in the overworld. Which, by the way, was the Minecraft world always called the overworld?
I don't know about always, but that's what it is. I'm pretty sure.
Like, that's what it is. Yeah, I just didn't know.
Because it's like the overworld and the nether, and then the end is the other dimension.
Also, I was really mad that at the end, when like Steve and the garbage guy like make their own video game and they don't call it Minecraft. Like, that at least would have been like kind of cool.
What'd they call it? They called it like Super Cube Battle Buddies or something?
Something like that. And I just oh boy. I was like, dude, you're not even gonna call it Minecraft?
No, it was like a Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah, it was almost like they were gonna build into like Smash Bros.
Yeah.
And then
Hey, Steve's in Smash Bros now.
that's what I'm saying. And then
Yeah.
like my friend leaned over to me and was like, by the way, there's an end credits scene. And I was like, oh God. And I stayed for it. Did you stayed for it, right?
Dude, I got the hell out of there as fast as I could.
So you didn't see the end credits scene?
I saw the one with Jennifer Coolidge and the guy.
Oh.
What's after that?
So it's Steve goes back to his old house like in the real world.
Yeah.
And he knocks on the door and he's like, I left a chest upstairs. And you see like from behind and she's like, oh yeah, like you can come get it. Like he's like, I'm Steve. And she's like, I'm Alex.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was just like, okay, who cares? What are we getting,
Yeah.
Minecraft 2? Please don't.
Honestly, probably.
Well, after the money that this is going to make, I mean, that's what I'm saying by they may get the wrong idea.
we
Like,
don't need a sequel.
no, we didn't need the first one.
I honestly, a Minecraft movie could have been so good. Just do it right.
It should have been fully animated, like
And
I
we
said
are
earlier.
we recognize that we are 2 grown men talking about the Minecraft movie, but listen, we go to the movies, we see these movies, and I mean, it's not for us, but we still have an opinion. Like,
But
I don't like it.
why shouldn't it be? Again, like kids' movies,
Right, I still enjoy kids' movies.
it should be for like, you know, they should make them for families. Like, it's not like a baby thing. And we're talking about Minecraft. This is something that a lot of us grew up on. So
Yeah.
naturally, yes, it's a kids movie, but naturally, a lot of us are going to be excited about the premise of a Minecraft movie.
That was our generation when it came out. It came out in like 2009. We were 9 years old when this game came out. We grew
like,
up on that.
They like the Sonic movies. They're very aware that even though they make them, the target audience is technically kids. It is enjoyable for everyone, and
love
that's
those movies.
that's what the Minecraft movie should have been. Is a film that the whole family could actually enjoy, not just something that you bring your kids to like entertain them for a few hours. Because it was brain rot. I mean, it was totally brain rot. The movie.
I felt so bad. So my theater was packed with like teenagers who every time that one of like the TikTok sounds of I Am Steve or Chicken Jockey came on, they would scream at the top of their lungs and start clapping. And it was funny at first when like Steve showed up and they did it. It's like, oh, haha. But that's every 6 minutes that he says something that became like a meme on TikTok. So the kids around me, like I'm with my friends, but of course there's kids everywhere.
Yeah.
They were like upset because they couldn't hear the movie because every 6 minutes these 20 teenagers would start screaming and clapping, and I felt really bad. The kid next to me was asking his mom, he's like, why do they keep screaming, like why are they so loud, like I can't hear the movie. And I was like, damn, like these teenagers are trying to be funny, but like you're ruining this experience for this 7-year-old child. Like I don't know, I did feel really bad for him, but that's the kind of audience this movie draws, is like teenagers who are trying to make fun of it and kids who are trying to enjoy it and adults who are going just to go.
Yeah, you know, it was funny in my theater, there was a lot of kids who were like, you know, it wasn't really teenagers like that. Like I would feel bad about that too. In my theater, it was just a lot of kids, like I said, who are like reciting lines. Like I said earlier, like
Because they're actually excited.
Yeah, and like that, but that made me laugh. Like when they screamed "Chicken Jockey" in unison,
Yeah.
that made me laugh way more than I think anything actually in the movie. And like I can feel that the kids in the theater enjoyed it, but again, they're gonna look back on it someday and realize it was shit. You know what I mean? Whereas we look back on some of the movies from our childhood fondly because they actually are good movies that had something to say. It wasn't just brain rot. It wasn't this like TikTok generation where you have 2-second attention span and it's like they literally use the word unalive. Come on, give me a break.
Like multiple times.
Give me a break. You know
Dude,
what I mean?
don't know if you saw this. This is a little off topic, but I just recently watched the movie Dinosaur. There's a Disney ride that used to be based on it called Dinosaur or whatever it was. That movie, I don't know if you've seen it. It's so underrated.
Long time ago.
That Disney movie. That was my favorite movie as a child, and I rewatched it recently. Dinosaur, so good, like 10 out of 10. And I read all the reviews, and all the reviews were like, "This fucking sucks. This is so boring. This movie's shit." And I was like, "Damn, dude, people." Like, I still felt like I loved it while I was watching it again, but like I guess people grow up and they realize this movie's not as good as it was when they were a kid, and that's gonna be this times like 1,000 for the Minecraft movie.
Yeah, for sure. I will say the one good thing that came out of the movie for me is that me and my friends finally started a Minecraft world again after I haven't played
Really?
in like a couple years.
I haven't played in years.
So we started one last night after like the three of us that went to see the movie were like, let's go home and start a world. We were so excited. We were like, we can do Minecraft better than they can. And
did you make a tater tot gun?
The first thing I did was make a tater tot launcher when I went in there so I could go fight the garbage man or whatever. No, it was fun. I don't think I've ever seen a Minecraft world where all of us died so many times in the first day. Like, I don't know what they did to the mobs in Minecraft, but like they're too OP. Like the skeletons are like, they fuck you.
You're just getting old, man.
I think I am
getting worse
old.
at video games.
I mean, here's the thing. Like like I was ever that good, but like, I mean, we had fun and we actually like did a lot. We kind of played the game backwards. Like we went mining, we found 7 diamonds before we built a single bed.
That's risky.
So like we went backwards and it was a lot of fun, and we're gonna continue on the world and see where it takes us.
You're gonna continue on it for like 3 weeks and then not play it for 8 years.
No, never play again. Never play again.
Never that world again. But you're not gonna play Minecraft for like another year and a half.
We had a world. I'm not gonna say the name of it on here.
No, but we did have a world. Yeah.
We had a world a few years ago when we were in school. And I saw it when I was loading up Minecraft last night to join the new world with my friends. I saw that world and I didn't go into it, but I was like, oh, you know what I mean? I was like, I remember that. That was fun. Yeah. And like, because Minecraft isn't a game that really has an end, like even if you beat the Ender Dragon, you get to the end.
There's still more to do.
You can still do whatever you want. Minecraft, it ends when you're done with it.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Which is sometimes very quickly, or sometimes it's a long time.
Yeah, one of my friends who joined last night, like, I mean, he probably died the least out of all of us, but he joined a little after we had already started the world, and he was like, yeah, now I died like 3 times. I'm just not feeling it anymore. Yeah. And I was like, I get that. Like, there's times where you die like a whole bunch. I died with those 7 diamonds, and my friend, like, found them and saved them, and, like, he, like, had to, like, fight through like quite the battles just to get it back to our base.
He looted your corpse, dude.
So no, I mean, it's a teamwork effort. It's a teamwork effort. I mean, look, I love Minecraft. I will always be able to come back to it eventually. How do you feel about this? I feel like the only problem I have with Minecraft is like, so they have all these new updates and it's really cool, you know, but at the same time, I kind of miss the simplicity of Minecraft from like when we were kids.
Yeah, I mean, now you can build like a copper, like tower, like a lightning rod, a copper lightning rod. It's like, I don't know what to do.
I don't know what any of that means.
Do you remember the warden? Do you remember the new warden that they added a couple years ago? Yeah, it's like the most terrifying thing you've ever seen.
By the way, in our world, in one of our worlds that we had, Jack built like a giant statue of himself that
Yeah.
overlooked our base. It was the
Yeah,
most
you made fun of me for that.
it was the most narcissistic thing I've ever seen in a Minecraft world. Like, you looked like you were like the leader of a like third world country.
Brother,
With
when
that
you're this
statue.
handsome, you wanna put your statue everywhere, right?
I just thought it was really funny.
It looks good. I'm not gonna lie. You guys did make fun of me for that, but it looked good. So what are you gonna do?
Just because you spent so much time on Minecraft when we could have been building like useful things for the
know.
whole group, and you built just like a 10-story tall statue of yourself
Yeah.
overlooking the base.
And I'd go back and do it again. I should have built an army.
A whole bunch of 10-foot tall jacks.
Do we have anything else we want to say about the Minecraft movie? Minecraft movie?
No.
No, it's just there. It just happened. And
It
that's what
happened.
is.
Everyone, hey, let us know your thoughts about the Minecraft movie. A Minecraft movie. We're never going to get that right. Let us know your thoughts about it, though. Tell us if you agree or disagree with anything we say. But I think this is a good time to move on to our next topic. So Morgan Wallen. Morgan Wallen was on Saturday Night Live last week, and the host was Mikey Madison. He performed 2 songs on the show. And at the end, on SNL at the end, when the host and the musical guests and the cast are all up on the stage and they're saying their thank yous and good nights and they hug each other, and it's great. And the credits roll, the band is playing the music. Morgan Wallen, noticeably, the cast was standing really far behind Mikey Madison and Morgan Wallen. And she says, like, thank you, good night, blah, blah, blah. And he kind of says something to her, whatever, and then he doesn't look back. He doesn't acknowledge the cast. He just walks off, like straight through the camera, through Studio 8H, and just leaves. And that sparked a lot of controversy about him. Even Kenan Thompson was like saying that it was kind of weird. I think his reps tried to say that he just thought that he could go, that was where he'd been walking all week. But the thing that makes the whole thing crazy is afterwards, like an hour or two later, he posted a picture from like inside a plane.
Yeah.
And he said, "Get me to God's country."
It was like a picture of his own private jet.
Yeah, and he's like, "Get me to God's country." And I just wanted to know your thoughts on it.
I mean, is it possible? Like, I don't know if I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but is it possible that he's just never seen an episode of SNL and he's like just awkward like that?
It's possible, but there is actually a little bit of a history there. He was invited on the show back in 2020, I think, around the COVID pandemic. And I think they like booted him from the episode he was going to be on because he broke COVID protocols.
Okay.
And just obviously his track record of last year he got arrested at a Nashville bar for like throwing deck chairs off the roof or something like that.
So I'm sure there was something. Oh, that was him?
Yeah, that was him.
Okay, I'm sure there's something behind the scenes. I don't want he probably had beef with some people behind the scenes or something. It's just rude. That's what it is. At the end of the day, like, you can't really say more than that. It's rude. And he went off in his private jet and went to God's country. I don't even know where that is. Is that the South? Where is that?
I don't know, but what's funny is
that heaven? I don't know what that is.
The next day, one of the SNL writers, I didn't catch their name unfortunately, but one of the SNL writers posted, like, to make fun of it on Twitter. They posted, "Get me to God's country," and it was a picture of a Krispy Kreme donut truck.
Yes.
I thought that was so funny.
That's the Holy Land.
Yeah. So this is an interesting question that it raises, because a lot of people who like Morgan Wallen were like, "Yeah, well, screw that show and those liberal theater kid pussies," So I want to ask you, because I think SNL, we alluded to it a little bit last week, but it is in its 50th anniversary this year. It started in 1975, going strong 50 years later. They celebrated last month. And I want to ask you, do you think that Saturday Night Live is still relevant today?
Yeah, I mean, it's got such a history. I feel like even though the cast isn't as strong as it has been in the past years, there are some people that are on the cast now that I find just unfunny. And I don't dislike the people, but like I just don't find them funny. Like, some of the cast I love, some I don't. But everybody, I mean, if your favorite celebrity is on SNL, you're watching it. Like, I don't know. I hear people complain about SNL, and then they're like, oh, Ryan Gosling's hosting. I'm watching it. Oh, Sabrina Carpenter's performing. I'm watching it. So it's like an opportunity every week to get a new experience based on like the new host or the new musical guest. So I think it's still relevant, and they touch on a lot of social commentary and a lot of current events, and I think it keeps itself relevant through that. So I don't know. That's what I think. I don't know how you feel.
Well, we're talking about it, aren't we? And I feel
Yeah.
like if we're talking about it, it must be relevant still. And the show has been such a cultural hub of comedy and music and some real viral moments from the last 50 years. Like Sinead O'Connor tearing up the picture of the Pope in the 90s to to protest the Catholic Church and her experience, her negative experiences that she had with it. Just so many moments, so many amazing, incredibly talented people have come out of it. Eddie Murphy, Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, Will Ferrell, Bill Hader, Andy Samberg, Kenan Thompson, Adam Sandler. I think we said Adam Sandler. But like the list goes on and on.
There's so many.
I mean, look at the not ready for primetime players in the first cast. You have Dan Aykroyd, you have Chevy Chase, you have the late great Gilda Radner. So I think it is as relevant as ever. And maybe people don't tune in every week the way they used to because of the nature of cable TV. But you're telling me that clips still can't go viral online where most people are watching their stuff anyway? Like even if variety television doesn't have like the footprint that it used to, Saturday Night Live seems to transcend that.
They still made the movie last year. Like that was a great movie, and it only came out in 2024. Saturday Night, like that was a great movie. I remember talking to my mom about SNL, and she told me like every Saturday all her friends and her brother's friends would come over and they just sit on the floor, sit on the couch and watch SNL every Saturday night. Yeah. And it's like we don't have that now. Like I'm not like glued to every episode, but if someone, it just really matters on the host for me nowadays.
Well, like for example, this weekend Jack Black is actually hosting because
I'm watching that
Minecraft movie, and the musical guest is Elton John and Brandy Carlisle. That's a good show.
Yeah, I'm watching that.
That's a good show, and so I mean, you alluded to the cast. I'm gonna give them their flowers, the current cast, and say I actually think that they're a little better than it was maybe a few years ago. Like I think. It had like SNL has had some periods where they're down. Look at the 80s, for example, when Lorne Michaels left the show for a few seasons, and I think Dick Ebersol was running it, and then he comes back, and that's season 11, where it's like Robert Downey Jr., Anthony Michael Hall. It was like a weird year. They call it the weird year. I like saw a lot of it. In fact. It's interesting, like the way they ended that year, it was such a bad year for Saturday Night Live that they like publicly fired the whole cast at the last sketch except for John Lovitz. So what happened?
Crazy.
The episode was hosted by Billy Martin, actually, the late Yankee manager, and someone else. It was co-hosted. I don't even remember who the other host was actually, but Billy Martin was the host, and they like had a sketch at the end where he's playing Colonel Sanders and he's like screwing it up. And so Lorne comes in and like fires him. And then the next sketch, the last sketch is like all of the cast members from that season in a room. And they're like all excited because the season just wrapped. And they're like, oh my God, can't wait for next year. And then Billy Martin is seen like putting oil, like gas, on the outside of the room, and he lights it on fire. And Lorne Michaels is like, Billy, what are you doing? And he's like, well, if I'm fired, we're getting rid of everybody. And so Lorne goes into the room, into that room. He pulls out John Lovitz. He goes, John, wait for me downstairs.
He saved John.
And then the credits, so then it ends with like all the cast members like running around like with smoke, and they're like, oh my god, and it ends with the credits rolling, and it's all question marks, and they're like, who will survive in October? And this was their way of trying to generate like interest for people because Saturday Night Live was struggling.
That's kind of cool though. Like I would be into that. Like who survives? Like it's like a TV show, like a movie.
Yeah, except I don't think any of them did.
It's a cliffhanger.
Save for John Lovitz and a couple people, they canned everybody. But my point being is that the show has gone through down years before. I think they actually have a lot of funny people these days. Obviously, Kenan Thompson's the GOAT of that show. But I mean, you know, I'm a big fan. That Marcelo Hernandez, he's the guy who's doing Domingo. He's really funny. He's obviously great. Colin and Michael are great. I've been a fan of Sarah Sherman. I don't know. I think that they're trying to adjust to a new era, a new generation. That's what the show always does. But I think that they have some really funny people these days. And maybe a few years ago it was a little drier, but
the most underrated cast member right now, I think, is James Austin Johnson.
Yes, I know you love him.
You know I love him. He's the guy who plays Trump nowadays on SNL. He is so funny in like every sketch he's in. So maybe I don't dislike the cast. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, most of them are really great.
Michael Longfellow is great. You know,
I just don't want to say who I don't like.
Because what if they watch it?
Yeah, they're not watching this.
I know, but no, I really like the show. I think they have a really good cast. That Beavis and Butthead sketch with Ryan Gosling
killed me, dude. Well, who is that? What's the name of the woman?
Heidi Gardner.
Heidi Gardner.
She couldn't stop breaking, and Kenan. Right. What makes the whole sketch is Kenan playing it as the straight man, which he does in most sketches, because he doesn't break, and everyone else is breaking. Ryan Gosling's breaking. Mikey Day, who's also really funny, is breaking. Heidi Gardner cannot keep her laughter in. And then you got Kenan there, and he's just like, wait a minute.
So
like, he is so funny. So, yeah, I think the show's relevant. I think the show is funny. I think the show could honestly be starting to enter another great era that maybe it was like, you know, it lost Kate McKinnon, it lost Cecily Strong, it was trying to, well, everyone, it lost Pete Davidson. I mean, people move on to other projects, but I think it's starting to find its footing again, and I think the 50th has helped it kind of push it back into this relevancy a little bit.
Yeah, that was a great special.
Yeah. If anyone hasn't seen it, watch it. It's on Peacock.
There was so much stuff that they did that I was so like, that Ryan Reynolds Blake Lively joke was insane. Do you remember that?
Yeah, with the Justin Baldoni situation. Yes, that was
basically, if you guys haven't seen it, there's this whole controversy and alleged, you know, scandal going on with Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. You know, they starred in It Ends With Us, I think is what the movie's called.
Yes.
And Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are facing a lot of heat. And they showed up at the 50th anniversary special of SNL, and who was it? Was it what's her name? I must call it Leslie Knope. What's her name?
Leslie Jones.
No, Amy Poehler.
Amy, I was like, Amy Poehler and Tina Fey were doing the Q&A.
And they were asking audience members, and they call on Ryan Reynolds. They're like, "How are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm fine. Why? What have you heard?" And like Blake's face was, I don't know if she knew that was coming because she looked pissed.
I don't know. He had to know though.
He definitely knew, and then everyone was like so shocked that they said that. I think it was really funny.
Yeah, and it was great seeing everyone's reactions because the whole audience was just like celebrities and just seeing all their reactions. Awkward.
I could feel tense. But Amy Poehler and Tina Fey made it hilarious. So.
I mean, they're like one of the most iconic comedy duos of all time. That's like Abbott and Costello of this generation.
Yeah. Wow, that's big praise, but I can see it.
I mean, they are funny. Like they make me laugh every time they're together. All right, why don't we move on to CinemaCon?
Yeah, we'll get into that. There's a lot.
To talk
about. So, I mean, do you want to start, or do you want me to start? Because we got a lot to go through.
Why don't you could start? What do you want to bring up?
I guess I'll start quickly with the Marvel stuff because there's not too much Marvel stuff, so we'll get through that out of the way. We got the name and the release date of the new Spider-Man movie, so it's called Spider-Man Brand New Day, and that's being released in July of 2020. Is it 6 or 7?
2026. Moving away from the home name.
Yeah, what do you think is going to be this trilogy's thing? Is it going to be Day or New?
I think New, because of the whole fact that no one knows. He's like a new identity, you know, so no one remembers him.
Every title is going to be like Brand New Day. It's going to be something like that.
I mean, that's my guess. If they're going to, unless they don't care about continuing on with, you know, having the same name, but
Well, I think that's really cool. So we got that announced. We got some pictures from Across the Spider-Verse, which is really cool. Some images from
And
that.
a release date of 2027, which is funny because the movie was originally planned to come out a year ago.
Yeah, I'm actually Beyond the Spider-Verse, not Across the Spider-Verse.
Yes, Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Beyond the Spider-Verse. We got release date for that. We also got. This is some leaked stuff that I just want to talk about while we're talking about Marvel. It's not CinemaCon, but I really wanted to bring up the Daredevil suit for like 2 seconds. So we got a leaked Daredevil Born Again Season 2 suit, and he finally has those big fat double D's on his chest. And
hey, yo!
it's so... We've been waiting for 10 years for this. And I am such a Daredevil fan, and this suit is so peak. It's like the best comic book suit. Maybe not best, but it looks amazing. It's Daredevil's obviously best suit. I'm sure you've seen it, right? You saw the images?
Yes.
Did you like it? What do you think? Does it look cool?
I think it's going to be really cool. I think the show has been really good. I haven't seen the latest episode yet. I haven't had time, but I think I'm interested by where they're going with it. And I'm just really, as a fan of Daredevil, to see the suit, that we've been trying to see from the comics all this time, finally brought into live action. And we all love Charlie Cox so much, so we get to see him don it finally. I'm excited.
And we're going to give a full Daredevil season 1 of Daredevil Born Again review when the season ends.
Yes, once it's over, we'll really dive into Daredevil. But just to touch on the suit, it looks sick. It's gonna be awesome. But there was a lot else. You know what else they announced at CinemaCon? Moving away a little bit from Marvel was the new Beatles.
Yeah.
Movies, I should say.
What a weird way to do things.
So it's being pitched as like the first bingeable theatrical experience. Except I feel like the George and Ringo movies are just going to flop because everyone's going to want to see John and Paul.
I don't want to go to the Ringo Starr movie when I could go see Paul McCartney and John Lennon. What?
But I don't know how it's going to work. Like, what do you think? I mean, are they going to, like, how's the stories going to work? Is it the same one from each perspective? Or are they going to tell the whole story of the Beatles and they're using certain parts of their stories from those perspectives?
Are the release dates the same?
Yeah, it's all April. I mean, I don't know days, but it's
all in April.
April 2028, yes.
Dude, I think it's going to be like the Avengers. Like, they're going to have their own individual origin stories, and they're all going to, like, team up at the end. Like, do you remember when Robert Downey Jr. at the end of The Incredible Hulk was, like, putting together a team?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Paul or John is, like, going to go find Ringo.
The fifth Beatle, the infamous fifth Beatle is going to come and bring them all together.
He's going to be, like, their Doctor Doom. Like,
yeah.
And the Fantastic Four.
I mean, I'm excited. I love the Beatles. They're one of my all-time favorite. I know when we did Take in the Sand last week, I know I said Kendrick and Billie Eilish to try and be relevant, but all-time, I love the Beatles. I mean, they are one of the most influential, if not the most influential band of all time. So,
what do you think of the casting?
It's interesting. I mean, there's a lot of criticism online about it. I don't even remember who's playing who exactly. I know it's Paul Mescal, I think, is Paul McCartney, right?
He's Paul McCartney.
Harris Dickinson
is John Lennon.
John Lennon. Obviously, Barry Hogan.
Barrett Keoghan.
I don't think that's how you say it.
It's definitely with a K, bro.
I'm pretty sure it's silent.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Someone has Sabrina Carpenter.
Drop in the comments how to pronounce this guy's
name.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, I don't know. Does Barry even really know? I don't know.
I doubt it. He's playing Ringo, which is so fitting because
that is fitting. Of
course he would be Ringo.
And then
Joseph Quinn is George
Joseph
Harrison.
Quinn is George Harrison. Look, people complaining they don't look like them. They'll do like prosthetics and makeup, and I'm not really concerned about that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Some people think they should have left it as unknowns, but I feel like you're trying to sell the Beatles for biopics. They want names.
I think I saw this really funny comment that was like, Barry, whatever the fuck his last name is, like, of course he's playing Ringo, but even he, like, Ringo's weird looking, but even he is too weird looking to play Ringo. And I thought that was so funny.
No, I think it's fitting. I think because Barry plays weird little guys. That's what that's like. If anyone's seen the Banshees of Inisherin, like, he's a weird little guy in that movie.
He's like he's the Joker in the new Batman.
Yeah,
so.
well, we'll see if that ever even happens. But
that's a whole other episode.
That's another day.
Yeah.
That's another day. But yeah, no, I think it's fitting. I mean, I think it's just too early to really judge.
Yeah, we can't. I mean, we don't really know what the plots are going to be. I'm just assuming their lives before the Beatles, but it could be.
I think. I think we're going to see a lot of Beatlemania too. I mean, they're going to be in each other's movies, I'm sure.
But that's
Beatlemania,
whoever's comes out first is like, they have to like carry it.
Now here's the interesting.
Show up.
Well, yeah, but Beatlemania was such a big deal, so I'm sure that they're going to cover that. Here's the interesting thing: how do you think award season is going to work that year?
I didn't even think about that.
There's
Like best actor is all four of them are nominated for
because
best actor.
One could be the best actor and like like let's say Paul Mescal is like the lead actor of the Paul McCartney movie, but he's a supporting actor in the John Lennon movie. You know, like how does that work? Sam Mendes, who's directing all of them, like how is this going to work? I feel like it's going to be a nightmare to try and sort out how the Academy is going to vote.
I don't know. I think if they get nominated, it's only gonna be one of them, one movie.
Maybe, but then
I don't know how they can nominate all four movies.
How is one movie going to be that much better than the others? Like they're probably all going to be around the same in terms of quality.
Yeah, I think it's just character, which people are gonna care about. Like I feel bad because Ringo's still alive, and like his movies obviously gonna do.
It's
the
like
worst.
82,
and he looks good.
Yeah.
He's not doing too bad.
Oh no.
But I don't know. John Lennon is probably going to have the best reception of his movie.
Over Paul, you think?
Yeah, I think just because John Lennon's dead.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people in our generation, you know, because like most famous and people, celebrities, musicians, what have you, like they have skeletons in their closet. And I don't know that Paul McCartney has those same skeletons, and he's such a beloved figure in the world. Like speaking of the SNL 50 special, he closed it out. Paul McCartney.
Yeah, he did.
He closed it out, and there was no one bigger for a show like that, in my opinion, than Paul McCartney.
Does the drama, does the controversy though make for a better movie that people are going to want to go see? I mean,
makes for a better movie, but is it going to make for a better reception? And how are they even going to handle all?
Like the Yoko Ono stuff?
Just everything, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see how Sam Mendes tackles it. That's for sure.
That's something we heard about. Do you have anything else to say about the Beatles before we go on to something else?
No, I would just say this about the awards season, though, is the movies are coming out in April. So the Oscars that they will be eligible for are going to be in like March of 2029, which is
we got a while.
Asinine for me to even say out loud and think about.
That's not a real year, man.
That's not. Well, we're closer to 2029 than we are to 2020.
Chill.
Basically, at this point, or we're like halfway there. You know, no, we're closer to 2029. That's scary.
Whatever.
All right. Well, one other thing that happened that I think is worth mentioning is Coyote versus Acme.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I have no idea what that is. You're gonna have to fill me in.
I'll fill you. So I'm sure. Hopefully, anyone out there knows. But Coyote versus Acme is one of those, like, you know, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Those like hybrid animated live action.
I love that movie.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't even remember the whole premise. I know Will Forte stars in it. John Cena stars in it. It is a Looney Tunes hybrid live action animated movie that has to do. It's Coyote versus Acme. It's like a courtroom comedy kind of thing. That they filmed, they completed the whole movie, and then Warner Bros. Shelved it for what they said was a tax write-off. And they said that they were deleting the movie and it was never going to get released, similar to what happened to Batgirl. And that was like a lot of people were up in arms. I know that the people who were in the movie, like Will Forte and John Cena, expressed their extreme displeasure of the decision. And a lot of people were mad because Looney Tunes is the property that Warner Bros. Is entirely based on. And here they are shoving it to the side to focus on, they say that to focus on like IP-driven content, but that's your biggest IP you even own.
Was it Wile E. Coyote? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that, so Ketchup Entertainment bought it for $50 million.
Ketchup?
Yeah, I've heard of them, but I don't really remember from where. Ketchup Entertainment.
Like ketchup, like the thing that goes on hot dogs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Ketchup. So they bought it for $50 million and announced they're releasing it next year. And my thing about it is that's great because art should not be made and shelved. It should not be up to business people. Here's the thing, because everyone's saying, well, what if the movie sucks? I mean, at least we got to see it and decide for ourselves if the movie's worth it. And I guarantee you, with all of the whole like drama and, you know, press around it, I guarantee it's going to make a lot of money. Just because everyone's going to say, well, this was the forbidden movie, so let's go see it.
They should release it and just like, they could do that. They could just say it was like a tax write-off and then release it just to spark some interest.
Well, now Warner Bros. Isn't doing it now because they sold it.
Oh, right. Ketchup, right.
Ketchup Entertainment is going to release it. But I just think that that's really, that's a shame. You know, Warner Bros., like, I don't know if you knew this. I thought I actually mentioned this on the pod last week briefly, but maybe not. They took all their Looney Tunes content off of Max.
What is wrong with them? Why are they like ashamed of their biggest property?
They're just trying to move. They're moving away from it. I don't know why.
It makes them money. They have unlimited material.
But see, I think they think it doesn't make them enough money. Oh, but Joker 2 does. Oh, yeah. Joker 2.
I don't think they know what to do with these characters. That's why. Like, they're going to make, what is it, Space Jam 2, and then be like, this sucks? Like, yeah, you made Space Jam 2 with LeBron James. No shit.
I just don't know, like, studios and their decisions when it comes to what they fund, it really sometimes baffles me. Like, obviously they're doing it based off some sort of algorithm that tells them this is going to make them the most money, this is going to be popular.
Yeah.
But, like, look at Netflix. Netflix had a deal with David Lynch, rest in peace to David Lynch, for many years. He was trying to get funding for another movie, and they wouldn't give it to him. And now you got, like, garbage. Like, you know that balloon dating show? They're funding that. Yeah. They'll put money into that. They'll put $320 million into the Electric State, but they won't give David Lynch the opportunity to make another. We're talking about the guy who made Elephant Man, Eraserhead, Mulholland Drive, Blue Velvet, for fuck's sakes. And
didn't he make the first Dune, like the original Dune movie?
Yeah, he made the original Dune movie. Like he was awesome, you know. And obviously a lot of people didn't understand his movies. That was part of the appeal, the Lynchian formula. Like, it just, and yet here you have Netflix giving burning money elsewhere. Burning,
these
not
big
giving
studios,
it, burning it.
They don't know what they're doing. I mean, whoever's in charge of these studios, like, they need to pick it up. They need to listen to their fans. I mean, we can make better decisions than these guys can. It's just embarrassing.
I just think you shouldn't be listening to an algorithm to tell you everything that's going to work. I think sometimes, like you said, you got to listen to the fans. You got to listen to the feedback. This is what people want to see.
Yeah, listen to people.
So give it to them. You know, not what a bunch of studio heads who don't know what it takes to make a movie or make a good story, what they think is right, just because they can pocket a few extra bucks.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think them also, it's like Warner Brothers, when they're using it as like a tax write-off, they're just taking advantage of Looney Tunes, you know? They're like, we have these characters that we can just do whatever we want with. Let's make a movie that's never going to see the light of day. And I hated that the same thing happened with the Batgirl movie, strictly because Brendan Fraser was supposed to play the villain in that movie. And they filmed the whole thing, and he was playing Firefly. And I would have loved to see that. That was even before The Whale, I think. That would have been his like comeback. And that movie wouldn't have done well. Like, I'm being honest, it's Batgirl.
Probably not.
It's Batgirl at the time when DC was like horrible.
But you know what? You have, it's not even just the actors who are in the movie, because people can say, oh, they'll be fine. What about the thousands, hundreds, if not thousands of people who work behind the scenes on the production, who put their time and energy and heart into these things, into these movies, and then it just gets scrapped and no one sees their work? It doesn't see the light of day. It's not fair. It should not be up to a select few whose work, whose time gets to be justified and what audiences get to deem worthy of seeing in theaters or not. That should be up to us, the people who go to the movies, who spend the obscene amounts on tickets and popcorn and all of this stuff. We should at least get the ability to see the movies that we know are being made that we want to see, and not have David Zaslav at the top of Warner Brothers say, sorry, We finished Coyote vs. Acme. We finished Batgirl, and it's never going to see the light of day. That is bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, you've directed things before. Like, behind the camera is just as important as in front of the camera. You have so many people working on these things that never see the light of day. I can't even imagine the disappointment I would feel if I was working on this movie and it was like, yeah, none of your hard work is going to matter. Like, they still get paid, but it's not about that, really, probably. I mean, I don't know them personally, but
I don't know their individual contracts, but it's about the work. It's
about your creative process being shown to the world, and like, you're putting this work out there and you're proud of it and you're happy with it. And then they just say, yeah, fuck you. You don't get what you want.
And also, you probably can't put it on your resume if the movie didn't end up existing. So you just spent all this time and energy, and now it's not something you can actually use to further your career after that. So I'm glad it's saved. Everyone say a nice thank you to Ketchup Entertainment for saving Coyote v. Acme. You didn't even know about it. You're probably going to go see it now next year just because of this. Why not, right?
Yeah, I had no idea this was even a thing, so I'm definitely going to see it.
Yeah, so, well, now at least we have the ability to.
Something else I wanted to bring up is also pretty quick. Did you see the trailer for Star Wars Tales of the Underworld?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so let me tell you. This actually looks awesome. We saw Tales of the Jedi was great. It was focused on Ahsoka and Count Dooku. Awesome. And then we got Tales of the Empire, which was pretty bad. And it focused on, I don't even remember her name. She was Luminara's apprentice and she turned evil. And then it was somebody else. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw Tales of the Jedi. I never saw Empire.
Empire was bad. Tales of the Jedi was great.
Yeah.
And Tales of the Underworld, it's going to be, short episodes again, 15-minute episode, 12-minute episode, whatever. It's focused on Cad Bane and Asajj Ventress after the Clone Wars. And we know what happens to Cad Bane. If you've seen Book of Boba Fett, Boba Fett kills Cad Bane very easily. It's very anticlimactic. But he's still such a good character, and the trailer looks awesome. Asajj Ventress is a great character. She's not a bounty hunter anymore. She's not an assassin. She's like a rogue Jedi/Sith kind of lady with her yellow lightsaber. She was in the Bad Batch season 3, and she was really cool. And Cad Bane is just always awesome. He's a bounty hunter, and I want to see more shit with him in it all the time. So I don't know, are you excited for that with those characters, even though you didn't see the trailer?
Yeah, I mean, I have to watch the trailer, but, I love Cad Bane and Asajj Ventress. I think Star Wars should explore some of these really interesting side characters more, because look what they did for Maul. Maul was originally just like a side character, kind of like B-villain in a way in The Phantom Menace, and they ended up fleshing out his story to become one of the most interesting and unique characters in the whole universe. So you could
He's one of my favorites.
Continue to do that in these mediums for Cad Bane and Asajj Ventress, and I think they should. I'm looking forward to it.
I think bringing Maul back to life. He technically never died, but bringing him back to life after the Phantom Menace was one of the smartest things Disney did with Star Wars. Actually, no, that wasn't even Disney. That was before.
No, that was
Disney
before.
Yeah. But the Clone Wars did. I think that's one of the smartest things the Clone Wars did, because he's awesome. And then Disney did the finale of the Clone Wars, which I still think is the greatest thing Star Wars is or has ever put out, is the last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars. And that might be a hot take, but I think it's better than Empire, and I think it's better than Revenge of the Sith. And Maul is a big part of that. I love that guy. He's fucking sick.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say it's better than Empire, but it's close. It's certainly the best thing Disney's done with it.
Absolutely.
Close second being Andor, which has another season coming out soon.
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
And so we'll have more Star Wars content to talk about. But I think, on this, before we run out of time, of course, this was a segment we got a lot of feedback on so far, Seesaw. Speaking of things that we've seen and everything with, Star Wars and that we want to see. So this was something that a lot of you said to me personally and reached out and just said that you thought was really cool. So we're going to keep bringing it back. Should I go first this week, or should you go first?
Go ahead. Take it away, brother.
So something I saw first. Baseball's back. Opening day was a week ago. The Yankees are back. Let's go. And so I wanted to watch a baseball movie. just to get into the mood of it, into the baseball season. And I'd actually never seen this before. Pride of the Yankees, old movie from like 1942 with Gary Cooper. Babe Ruth actually is in the movie, plays himself.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's, I know you're not a big like fan of older movies, but it is one of those. I mean, I do like those, obviously. I talk about them, but this one was really good. Like, this is one that holds up well, I think, even now with its humor and just its like love for the sport. It's a story of Lou Gehrig.
Is Babe Ruth a good actor?
Kind of, actually.
Really? Okay.
Like, he doesn't have a ton of screen time, but he's funny. And I feel like, so he died in 1948. I feel like he didn't really have, like, the opportunity to really showcase his acting abilities. He was in another movie I haven't seen called Speedy. I think that came out way back in, like, 1927. It's almost like 100 years old. But, like, my point, like, he did do some stuff. He was, like, you see that now where, like, especially, like, wrestlers who turn into actors like Dave Bautista, The Rock,
Cena.
like John Cena. Babe Ruth is like one of the earliest, I guess, like athletes to actually like dive into the entertainment industry. And I thought he was pretty good in it. I would have liked to see more from him. Unfortunately, that's never going to happen. So I saw The Pride of the Yankees. It's also on Amazon Prime. I highly recommend it. Anyone who's a baseball fan or likes older movies. And something that I want to see coming up, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. I forgot this. Okay, so this wasn't in the top 5 box office. Princess Mononoke, I think is how you say it. It's a Studio Ghibli movie. I haven't seen a lot from Studio Ghibli. I've only seen like a few, like Spirited Away. I saw The Boy and the Heron. It was re-released in theaters recently. I'm not sure why. It's a Hayao Miyazaki. I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize if I'm not. He's a legend in the filmmaking industry. Mm-hmm. So I'm using this movie as an example, but really just any of these Studio Ghibli movies that I haven't seen yet. I'd like to get into those a little more because they seem like they're actually really good. And the ones that I've seen so far are really good. So I'm going to say Princess Mononoke. Again, I hope I'm saying that right. But any of those Studio Ghibli movies that I haven't seen yet is on my C. That's
cool. The only one I've ever seen is Ponyo. I think that's...
See, I've never seen Ponyo.
Ponyo was really good.
Yeah, Spirited Away, Boy and the Heron, and I think Porco Rosso. I've seen those. I haven't seen any others.
Never seen My Neighbor Totoro?
No, see, that's another one on my seesaw is My Neighbor Totoro. That's like a big one, you know what I mean? Yeah, I've never really like gotten into those, and I really want to.
So for my seesaw, something that I just saw is Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. That Pete Davidson, Rachel Sennett movie. It was pretty good. I mean, have you seen it?
Yes.
It was fine. There's not a single likable character in that movie.
No.
They are all the most irritating, but in like a kind of charming way. Like it's funny, but like it does get old quickly. So I saw that. That's probably the most recent.
Yeah, that movie.
That I've seen.
That movie is probably like what Congress saw and was like, we need to ban TikTok.
Yeah, because they're like they're like human like TikTok accounts.
Yeah.
And especially with how that movie ends.
Yeah, that's what I was referencing. I won't spoil it here, but
but TikTok is a big part of that movie. And what I really want to see, and this is coming out in May, is Thunderbolts. I am so excited for Thunderbolts. Everyone's been feeling this Marvel, this superhero fatigue, and I've been feeling it too. Brave New World wasn't great. But Thunderbolts looks so different and so good. And what sold me was the A24 type trailer that Florence Pugh released and Marvel released. And I love the cast too. Like it just seems so fun. Like I loved the Suicide Squad movie that James Gunn did. It feels like that, So
I hope it's good. I'm a little concerned because like even the Captain America, like Brave New World, Brave whatever it was, trailers like looked good, and then the movie came out and it really wasn't that good. So I'm a little concerned, but I am going to see it. I'm hopeful. I mean, my biggest anticipated Marvel project is just Fantastic Four, but that's a little more down the road.
The one thing I'm upset about with Thunderbolts, is that they probably spoiled it with the Doomsday cast announcement. We talked about this last episode, but like 99% of the cast was announced for Doomsday. The only one not announced was Taskmaster, which means she's probably going to die.
Which everyone thought was going to happen anyway.
But I really thought Red Guardian was going to die, but David Harbour was announced for Doomsday. They could still kill him and have a variant of him or bring him back, which I would not like, but what are you going to do?
Well, I guess we'll see in May.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. I'm excited.
Well, all right. I think that about does it for us here before we force everyone's ears to bleed out by going too long on this episode. But no, thank you for everyone who continues to, like we said at the beginning, join in, share with your friends. We're really trying to get the word out there about this. Follow us on Instagram, on TikTok at Box Office Dynasty. You can find us on YouTube as well under the same name, and of course Spotify. So yeah, anything else you need to add?
We're gonna try and we're gonna get on Apple Music pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, we're working on it.
But if you're listening to this now, share with your friends, give a like, give a follow. It means the world to us. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we love you all, and we look forward to another great episode next week.
All right, peace, dude.
Later.